The Foraging update has been out for a handful of days now, and after getting a good handle on the content within, here is my guide to the Foraging update and the hunting content related. Let's get right in. Arriving into Galatea, it's easy to get overwhelmed, but let me try and simplify what you need to know about the area. Straight ahead is the main hall with information about basic hunting and foraging. To the left of the hall will be NPCs to buy armor and black holes. In the center of the whole map is the contest NPC, but we'll jump more into that a little bit later. To start us off, let's look into the progression that should be followed in terms of gear. Pick yourself up some canopy armor from the NPC here. Following the armor, purchase yourself a tree capitator as a budget option, although a fig stone splitter is undeniably the best option. Eventually, you'll move on to fig armor once you can afford it, which does not take long at all if you're just mining normally. For equipment, the David's cloak and full mangrove equipment is perfect. You can choose to grind these by yourself with the new mangrove collection or buy them on AH. For the pet, a monkey is a solid starter, but it seems like the frog is preferred now as long as it's at least epic. It's obligatory to mention this as well, but you can buy the jade dragon if you have the money. This is a large money sink, and for what we have so far, I don't really believe it's necessary. Eventually, you may need it for the other islands, but you're probably okay for now if you don't have it. I just wouldn't worry about it. There's also a debate in which ultimate enchantment is best for the axe, but in my personal opinion, whatever you like better is the best option. Missile and First Impression are both solid, and I wouldn't really worry about that either. So now that we're geared up, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the actual foraging. This update introduces contests, very akin to the farming ones. There's also Heart of the Forest now, which is another identical concept to Heart of the Mountain. The way you get Heart of the Forest XP mainly is from the foraging contests, which give tons of XP upon completion. Now these contests are easy to complete, as they count with any tree you mine, and you're not competing with other players. You achieve score in these by doing tasks on the new foraging island. I wouldn't worry much about that, as just chopping the trees is the fastest way to accumulate score regardless, although you can hunt for some, it's not the best way. This is a lot on paper, but it's all much easier than you think, and most of this all just happens absent-mindedly on its own. There are two types of trees, fig and mangrove. Fig should be harvested first, as it cuts easier and allows use for more of your sweep, a mechanic that allows you to cut more logs at once. Once you obtain at least 200 sweep, you can move on to mangrove if you'd like. Either tree is okay to do, but mangrove will make more money. Another important thing to remember is to chop the trees in the right direction. Fig trees chop easier when you go from the bottom up. Mangrove trees are the opposite and go easier when chopped from the branches down to the roots. Once you've mastered all this, it actually does genuinely come down to just chopping trees with your brain off, and it'll all fall into place. Now we move into the other half of the update, the hunting section. Stick around if you're only interested in the foraging, as this section is equally as important for the foraging part as well. This update introduces the ability to catch certain mobs with multiple ways to catch them. Now this is a foraging guide, so I won't go super in depth here, but I will make sure to touch upon the important parts. You can use a hunting axe, lasso, and fishing net to catch them manually, with craftable traps being another good method as well. The game gives a good explanation on how these work, and I may make a more in-depth guide on it, but let me focus on what's important for the foraging part of it. You can buy many different attributes that give buffs, and I'll list some of the most important ones here. Moonglade Mastery, Animal Mastery, and Strong Legs are good for all-around foraging. Shards like Fig and Mangrove Sharpening are great for their respective tree, as well as Fig and Mangrove Collector. These are the most important and obvious ones, but there are a few others. Echo of Sharpening makes the sharpening attribute stronger, and Bamboo Leaf will increase sweep on axe throws. If you can level these a bunch, then you'll get a ton of fortune and sweep, which will end up being really helpful. With all of that, you should be all set to compete and complete the foraging update in its whole. For the Heart of the Forest tree, just make sure you get a few perks that are essential, as not all of them are all that great. These are Lottery, Foraging Madness, Foraging Fortune, Sweep, Forest Strength, and Speed, and to get the Maniac Slicer ability. There's a debate on which path is the best so far, so just try and work through other perks you may personally like as well to get the perks that you need. That's all I have for this video, folks. This update has a lot of content, and I hope that this keeps you all prepared. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will make sure I see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.